Oh, wrong one. Going to go stir the meat that we got going. Oh gosh. I'm gonna wash my hands. Well, made a mess. But these are not even close to similar. You guys, we did it. Something really interesting is I wanted this to be just like an hour, and I started at 11:43 and it's currently 12:42. So we did it. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Carrie and this is Keep It Simple DIY. Today I'm going to do quite a bit of freezer prep. I'm going to make, I think, 6 or 7 freezer meals. And then also I want to have a lot of ground meat just cooked up because that'll be super convenient. So I have 6 pounds of ground beef here. I plan to make 4 of these pounds into 1 pound meatloaves. And then I plan to just cook 2 of them up on the stove, put them in the freezer, and have ground beef ready anytime I want a quick and easy meal. I also have 2 pounds of ground chicken. This is the chicken that we bought on sale, and I just ground it up actually in this blender, not with this attachment, but with the bigger one. It's a mixture of breasts and thighs. And then I have 2 pounds of Italian sausage that I made a while ago. I'm just going to cook this up, get it in the freezer so I can easily use it. And then 1 pound of maple sausage. This is probably more like 1.5 pounds, I think. So altogether, I made sure to pick everything that was ground. I wanted to make sure to do this day focus all around ground meat because I could be really strategic about how quickly I'm able to get everything done. So I am going to start by putting the meat on the stove to cook, and then I will start working on the meatloaf. All right, I'm putting the maple sausage over on this side, and then I'm going to put the Italian sausage on the other and get these cooking for us while we are making the meatloaf. And I'm using my big burners. I have another pot out for the meatballs, the chicken meatballs. Did I say they were teriyaki chicken meatballs? I don't remember what I said. I literally hate that. Okay. Come on. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Okay. I got a spatula for those. All right, I'm going to get 4 of these pounds in my mixer. If you're not making meatloaf or anything like meatballs in your mixer, you're missing out. This is the easiest way to do it. And this meatloaf recipe is a recipe that I grew up eating. My mom made this all the time. It's actually my husband's favorite recipe as well. So last year I made 6 pounds of it, and then I also made it for a game night, and that was a bit too much. So this year I'm only going to make 4 pounds of it for now, and then if we want more later, I can always make more. And then we are also only a family of 2. And so whenever I'm cooking, I like to make my meals be smaller portions just so we don't have to eat the same thing over and over and over and over again. And then these last 2 that are down here are going to be for the ground beef, just regular old ground beef. All right, so with this, I need 2 eggs. I need a little bit of milk, so let me grab some water, and I'm going to use powdered milk. Maybe just a little bit. I need some breadcrumbs. I have panko breadcrumbs here. And I am going to use just a little bit because I need some for my next recipe as well, and I think I'm running low. We'll do salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Oh, I forgot Italian seasonings. I think I need Italian seasonings, do I? Maybe not. Here, look at my recipe. Ketchup. No Italian seasonings. All right, last ingredient is a 1/2 cup of ketchup, approximately. And then I am doubling the recipe, so of course that's like a cup. Okay, I am going to get this mixing on a low speed, and then I'm also going to go stir the meat that we have going. Oh gosh. Okay, this one's done. I'm going to take it off the heat, and then this one's not quite there, so we are going to shape our meatloaves. I did do a little bit of prep for today's meal prep. That's kind of funny. I got out everything I was going to need. I labeled everything, and so now I just need to make these meatloaves. And I really wanted to be strategic. A lot of times when I'm making freezer meals, I have so many recipes and they really aren't similar at all, which just seems to make everything take so much longer and I can't get nearly as much done. So I think my strategy for this coming year is that when I do my freezer meals, I just want to make sure everything can be done quickly because it's really easy to burn out doing freezer meals. So I'm going to first just do like a rough estimate of how much I think is a pound, and then get them in here, and then I will go through and do like a better shaping on them. This is the perfect size for us. And then I'll do the chicken meatballs just in the same bowl, so I don't even have to like clean the bowl twice, so that's awesome. Let's see here. Whew, this meat is cold. I have a little bit more in here. Let's see, which one should this go on? Maybe this one? Oh, it's so cold on my hands. I made sure to not over mix the meat in the mixer, so I only had it going for a little bit. All right, I'd say that's a meatloaf. We are cruising through this. My hope was that this wouldn't take more than an hour and I would have 9 meals plus 5 pounds of meat cooked and ready to go. It's like really good. That's like how long it could take to make one dinner. Just slightly press these together. I do need to make the sauce for these meatloaves as well. I'm just gonna put them in baggies on top of them, or I guess in a separate thing. Trying to get it off the edge so that way when I put sauce on it, when we cook it, we'll be able to get there. I'm gonna wash my hands, check on my ground meat, and then see what's next. All right, now that I have so much stuff in the way, I think I need to get some of those out of the way. So I'm gonna take this chicken and get it in the mixing bowl so it's ready for us when we're ready for it. And that'll help me get some of this stuff out of the way. Put this over there. We're not ready for it yet, but it'll be there. Okay, for this sauce, it's a 1/2 cup of ketchup to a 1/4 cup of brown sugar to a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I am doubling the recipe, but the recipe calls for these to be 2 pounds each, and so I have more surface area, so I usually triple the sauce. While the ketchup is trying to come down from there, we'll add in about 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire. And then 1/4 cup, so maybe around 3/4 cups of brown sugar. I always taste this to see exactly if it's where I want it to be. And I usually go a little heavy on the sugar. I'm trying to be pretty quick today. I really wanted to get in the kitchen and make up some freezer meals because I feel like I just really needed to have freezer meals. I've not been cooking as much just because it's a little bit more of a hassle and I'm in a little bit of a busier season of life right now. And so having freezer meals is important to me, but I also didn't want to spend longer than like an hour in the kitchen today. All right, let me taste that, but let me find something to taste it on. This. You can tell I didn't add enough ketchup yet. Okay, other side of the skewer. It's not a skewer, it's a chopstick. It's funny because the brown sugar, oh that was loud. The brown sugar that's in there is still gritty because it hasn't been like cooked. Oh, that makes my mouth water. It's good though. A little bit more Worcestershire just because I like it. And now I need to put all of these ingredients away and then, well, I might need some of them. Maybe I'll leave them out in case I need them. And I need to check on that meat on my stove that's probably just about done. Put the rest of this in there. And then I'm ready to bag up this sauce. Okay, I'm going to get these bags inside of this bag just because it'll keep them together. So in the freezer I don't have you know, getting lost, just these little bags of sauce. Okay, I think it's about time to turn off the heat on that sausage, and then the other sausage is probably just about cooled off, so it's time to package it. All right, here's my bag for the cooked maple sausage. So this will be super helpful on days that I want just to do a quick breakfast. I feel like meat is the thing that always takes the longest to make. So having meat ready, like if I want to make a casserole, I could just dump and go if I have the meat ready. That piece is a little big. And when I made this sausage, I basically just ground up some pork and added a bunch of spices, whichever way. I just looked up a bunch of recipes online. I haven't found any recipes that I super love yet. I also have learned that there's certain parts of a pig that you should use and certain parts maybe you shouldn't use. So I didn't use the right part, I think, for this, but I think we're okay. And then I didn't season these sausages when I was cooking them because when I made them, I put a ton of seasoning in them. I'm going to get the ground beef in here and start cooking, and then we can make our chicken teriyaki meatballs. And then I am going to salt and pepper the ground beef. I don't know what I'm going to be making this into, but I figure salt and pepper is going to go on everything. I mean, unless I make it into something Thai, and I would usually use white pepper, but I think we'll be okay with that black pepper in there. I also am using just a spatula. I have bought one of those like meat mashers before that are like an X on the bottom. And I don't know if I was doing it wrong, but like it was complicated. It was really hard to get down there, and the meat just kept getting stuck inside of like the crisscross part. So not quite sure what I did wrong, but I got rid of it because I didn't like it. All right, we'll let that cook. We are cruising right along. To our chicken, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of soy sauce. I am doubling this recipe of meatballs. We're going to add the rest of the breadcrumbs that I have. I think it's supposed to be a third cup per, oh goodness, a third cup per recipe, but this is what I have. So this is what we're using. Actually, do I have more? Maybe I'll look. I do not have more. I could use other things, but we're just not going to. Gonna add a little bit of pepper. And then no salt because there is salt in the soy sauce. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of green onions. I probably could add a little bit more since I'm doubling, but that's how much is in the bag. Some garlic and ginger. And then it also calls for some pineapple juice from crushed pineapple. I have cubed zucchini pineapple that we canned together. I need to crush this up, so let's go over to the blender and do that. So we are going to be using the juice from the pineapple to make the teriyaki sauce, and then the zucchini in here is not pineapple, but I think that'll actually be really good because we'll be able to get a little bit of a veggie inside of the meatball, and Also, my husband doesn't really like cooked pineapple. I did make pineapple rice with this, and I thought it was really tasty. He didn't love it because it was still pineapple-y-ish, even though it wasn't pineapple because of the pineapple juice. So I am going to instead put it inside the teriyaki, and I bet he won't even notice it's there. So let's take this, we'll dump this in, and we'll crush it up. This is what I'm going to be using to scoop out the meatballs, so I don't mind using that. And I love this blender. This is the Ninja, I don't know, something. It's a blender food processor in one. It's got little blendy bits and big ones, can make smoothie bowls, can do all the things. Okay, one little zip and I'd say that is some pretty crushed pineapple there. Okay, now I don't want this to have too much of the liquids. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to get so much liquid out is. Might be to put it in a strainer. I didn't want to make another thing dirty, but that's all right. I don't want too much liquid to go in the meatballs because I didn't have enough breadcrumbs, and I could use anything else, but we'll be okay. We will definitely be okay. Let's see if I just push a little bit here, can we get some of the juice out? Well, now we're just getting puree out. Okay, I am going to, how am I going to get this over there? Like this. We're going to go over and get it in here. While I'm thinking about it, I have some extras in my fridge that aren't part of this recipe, but I'm going to add them in anyways. This is some sweet chili sauce that I canned up. I used like a quarter of it for a recipe, and then I spilled half of it onto my counter, and this is what's left. This is just sugar, vinegar, and then chili peppers, and then some, well, hot chili flakes. And what's the last ingredient? Garlic, so it's the same thing. And then this is the apple jelly, which I think will go great. It's pineapple. That's what we're putting in there to begin with. So apple jelly will work. Just so I didn't forget, we are ready to mix our meatballs. I found the littlest bit of oats that I'd already ground up. I'm gonna add these in here to help with the wetness. Oops. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. I don't know if these are gonna stay together. Maybe we'll make it work. Back over at our ground beef, it's looking good. It is almost done. I want that water to cook out, or I guess it's not water, it's grease. Well, it could be some water because it was frozen meat. But once it cooks out, we'll be able to get a little bit of a brown on this meat, and then I will let it cool as well, and then we'll bag it up. All right, our ground beef is done. I have put that towards the back. I am going to start making the sauce. I've got everything that we'd already put in the pot right there. I'm going to add a few cloves of garlic. I'm just using minced, and then I'm also just using minced ginger. And anytime I use ginger, I will use the same spoon that I use for the garlic, but I will always make sure to use the garlic first and then the ginger, because every time I use ginger, I'm also using garlic, but every time I use garlic, I'm not also using ginger. And then to this, I need to add, for one recipe worth, it would be a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm doubling, but I'm kind of winging it, doing my own thing as I do. So that's the rest of the brown sugar. That worked out perfectly. And then I need to add some soy sauce as well. This is a little bit high. So probably about a cup of soy sauce, probably quite a bit here. Yep. And then I need to add water as well. And then I'm going to let this come up to a boil. I do need to have it melt down, or I might have already done it, the jelly that's in here. We'll give it a taste test. And then I'm going to thicken this with a cornstarch slurry. It was just cornstarch mixed with water, so nothing too crazy there. I'm hoping that the little bit of sweet chili sauce that I put in here gives it just kind of a cool tang. So usually when you make a teriyaki sauce, you'll use some type of an acidic base, either a vinegar or in this case the pineapple juice. And so since there was just vinegar in there and then just a little bit of like extra heat, I think that would be really good in here. This might need a little bit more water. And I got a whisk out because when I use the cornstarch, I definitely want to be whisking it in so it doesn't clump. I don't know if this is going to make 2 pans or 3 because I'm using those little pans. Well, made a mess, but we're going to add in the cornstarch slurry. I made quite a bit of it to try to stretch the sauce. And we're going to mix. Okay, let me turn this heat down. I think we're just about ready to turn the heat off and then start rolling up our meatballs. I'd say we're there. This is such a nice consistency. Okay, let's move it right into this middle burner because that's where nothing's been. I have quite a bit of stuff going on, so I figured let's get the Italian sausage put up into bags so that way we have at least another thing out of the way. And then there weren't as many pots on the stove. Since I want everything on the stove to cool off, I definitely don't want them too close together, you know, heating each other up. We are on the final stretch. These are not even close to similar. Close enough. All right, we are on the final stretch. All I have left to do is roll out the meatballs and then put the ground beef into some bags and then also put the sauce into some, I might not put it in bags, we'll see. Okay, let's grab these. Let's wipe the counter for a minute. I'm going to use a paper towel because I know there's been some raw meat around and I'm just not a fan of using a towel with that. Because towel is what you call it. Okay. I got 2 of these out. I don't know if that's how many I'll need. I might need 3. So I'm thinking I might just, you know, scoop them and put them there and then roll them after, I think. But this will help tell me how many I think will fit. I think I can get 3 across. And I only want 1 layer of meatballs, I think. The recipe did say it's supposed to make 20 meatballs. And then the serving would be 4 meatballs per person. So if I'm putting in here 12, oh, I might get 3 or 4 of these then. Which kind of makes sense because these are like half of the size of a 9x13 pan. So it would totally make sense that I would get 4 pans, which is cool because that means that we'll have 8 dinners ready to go plus the 5 bags. That's cool. So I have enough for a little bit, but not a whole nother tray. So I'm gonna start rolling these up and then see if I can fit a couple more in these. All right, everything on the stove is still cooling, so I think I'm going to take a minute and just get these dishes done and then let everything cool, and then we will come and wrap it up. You guys, we did it. Something really interesting is I wanted this to be just like an hour, and I started at 11:43 and it's currently 12:42. So we did it. In an hour, I filmed for you guys, got all this made, and I got all the dishes cleaned up and my counters wiped down. So I would say that's a huge success. I got 4 meatloaves and their sauce. I got 2 ground beef, 2 ground Italian sausage, 1 ground maple breakfast sausage, all just cooked, ready to go for easy meals, and then 3 teriyaki chicken meatball meals. And so I am very happy about this. Minimal time, minimal effort. I think from now on I'm going to be doing my freezer meals like this. Instead of having like, we're going to put this on the stove and this is going to be baked and this is going to be, you know, just all over the place. I kind of want to like have 2 things I can have going at the same time, like the stuff on the stove and the stuff that didn't require the stove. Yeah, overall, I would say this is my new favorite method. Everything was ground, so probably next time I do something, I won't touch ground meat at all, would be my guess. This is fantastic. I had considered baking up some bacon because that's the only way I'll ever use the bacon is if it's already cooked. I'm really glad I didn't though, because adding the element of using the oven too, I think would have just completely slowed everything down. So that was fantastic. I'm very happy with this. And now I need to go make room in my freezer. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and haven't yet, please subscribe. I'd love to see you. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.